Wow. Hi, loves and friends. How are you? It's me, Dana, and today we're doing it. This is the look we're doing today. It's the beginning of my December makeup starter pack series. This is look 1, which is going to be everything you need to know, the basics that you're going to need to know, and then going forward, we'll do looks, tutorials, whatever you want. My comment section is open, so let's get it. Also, let me know, do you guys want multiple uploads a week? So like 2 or 3, specify, or once a week? I'll be doing this all up until December 1, because if we start now, right? If we practice our makeup now, even if you are I don't know how to do makeup. You're gonna learn. Because you can't keep relying on Tsungi or on Lerato to keep doing your makeup every time you want to go out. Girl, learn to do a little lash, a little brow.
I love a bitch who know how to do her own makeup. I'm not saying you're gonna do your makeup all the time by yourself, but bitch, know how to do a little eyebrow and a little lash.
And I'm gonna teach you everything I know. So welcome to episode 1. Let's get into it. Yo, hello ladies and specimens. Gentlemen, before they get angry. It's like a reward.
It's like a reward.
Earl Grey tea is like my kryptonite. My hair looks wild. I don't have any headbands, so this will just have to do for taming that. You know what? I cannot. This looks better. Way better. If I look weird to you, it's because I had makeup on and I just washed it off so I can do it again. Tip number 1, please listen to music while you do your makeup. It helps more than you know, especially music that's a vibe similar to the look you wanna do. First of all, put something on your lips to get them ready. It's like I've forgotten how to film, and that's actually a bit scary. December is upon us, and if you don't know how to do your makeup, this is the time to start practicing, because once December 1 hits and you can't do your full face, peace be with you. Because yes, you can ask your friend,
hey friend, do my makeup, or friend, can you do my eyeliner, or hey.
Or you can practice now so that when it's 12th of November when I'm filming this, by the time I upload it, it's still November. So by the time December comes, you'll be good. As this is episode 1, let's get into everything you need to know. So this is kind of like we're going to cover wing liner, a full coverage base, like everything you're ever gonna need to know. Let's start. I've yapped enough. If you don't know how to do your eyebrows, start with eyebrows. Just start with your eyebrows. If you don't know how to do your eyebrows, or you're still learning and you're not too sure, start with your eyebrows so that you can correct them as you go. I need to film a transition. Wait. Alright, I'm back. No one talks about how much it actually takes to film those transition words. Hopefully now all disturbances are done and we can actually get into it. I was saying, girl, start with eyebrows. If you are unsure of your eyebrows, or if you're a beginner at your eyebrows, start with your eyebrows. You can pick your poison. You have pencils, pomades, pens. I would say for a beginner, start with a pencil. They are the easiest to use to start. My personal faves are, why am I out of breath because I was running? Brow pomades. I love the Anastasia Beverly Hills ones. Pencils, Saffron has a good one. Black Opal has a good one. And then pens, I recommend either MAC or Jackie Mbudo. Jackie Mbudo more for if you don't want your eyebrow to move. Like once it's on, it's done. My pencil is not sharp, so we're gonna use pomade for today. If you want a pencil tutorial, let me know. I'll find my sharpener by then. Groom your eyebrows. So whether you get them threaded, whether you wax them or Korean blade them, it makes them way easier when it's time to fill them in, when it's time for makeup. Even if you have thinner eyebrows like mine are fairly sparse, grooming them helps because you get your shape and it's one less thing to think about. That being said, grab your angled brush. This one is from Real Techniques, got a spoolie at the end. Brush through your brows. Why is this slipping? What I like to do is start on the opposite side of the hand that's doing. I'm right-handed, so I'm using my right hand. So I'll start with my left eye and outline first. If you want an in-depth how to do a brow tutorial, please do comment down below. Then we line the bottom. I can show you guys beginner-friendly hacks, especially when it comes to finding out what shape works best for your face. So you just let me know when we outline the front there. Then we do the same for the right eyebrow. Please, for the love of all things good, never use black for your brows. Even if your hair is black, don't use black for your eyebrows. You will look like a scarecrow. Unless it is for stylistic purposes, then yeah, go ahead. But for December glam, put away that black pencil or black pomade. Put it away. Okay, once we have the outlines done, I'm gonna zoom you into this brow. We're going to fill We concentrate most of the product towards the tail, and then we move forwards in like mini sections. And at the front here, I leave it for now. We go for this brow and refill. I've still got lash glue from when I was wearing makeup earlier, but it's okay. Then at the front, with the excess on the brush, we flick it up like this. Then we're gonna take that brush and brush out the front of the brows, blending it into the rest of the brow. Please do not neglect the step, otherwise you will have boxy brows, and we don't like boxy brows in this house. Eyebrows don't have to be your vices. Just blend it, especially this front part, until it's seamless. And then we're gonna clean up the brow. For this part, I'm going to take foundation. The reason why we use foundation is because one, it blends into your skin way easier, so it's less work. Especially if you use a concealer. If you use a light concealer, you might end up with halo brows. You use foundation. So onto it's flat, but it's rounded. This is my favorite brush for cleaning up brows. Then we start at the bottom of the opposite eye, and we clean that up. Can you see, using foundation helps because you can just blend that out and it's matching with your skin tone. For the top part of the brow, I use it flat. I find this is easier for me. With your brows, if you're scared to go too thin, it's better to fill them in thicker, and then you can thin them out with your foundation. Oh, I hadn't done the bottom of this brow. Oops, that looks weird. Okay. I like to join them here. I love for them to hold hands, because it helps me ensure that they're even. Okay, now we're going to just take a fluffy brush and blend that out. By the way, I forgot to say this, before you start your makeup, wash your face, moisturize, and make sure you leave enough time for all of that to sink in before you start your makeup to avoid it pilling. I keep saying, okay, that's not proper. Take that foundation and apply it onto your eyelids. This is what we're going to use to base for our eyeshadow. You can use foundation or concealer, whatever has enough coverage to cover up your eyes. You can also use eyeshadow bases. That works too, but I find you get more coverage out of foundation and concealer. I'm going to show you my go-to Vixen type look. I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Naughty palette for this. The first thing I'm going to do is take a small, there we go, eyeshadow brush that's fairly packed into the shade Spicy. You can use any purpley brown that you've got. And then we're going to just pack that in this outer section here. When it comes to eyeshadow palette recommendations, Huda Beauty's palettes are really good, especially for pigment and payoff. Juvia's Place are also very good. And then we just blend that out a bit to get rid of that harsh edge. Now what I'm going to do is take Untamed, that's this one. It's a lighter purpley brown. Onto a small but fluffier brush. And I'm going to use this to blend out those edges. Please make sure you blend, guys. You don't want harsh lines in your eyeshadow. That is just not the way. Blend until your arms get sore. Okay? For this, I'm going in a fairly zigzag motion. But usually when I'm blending, it's windshield wipe. It's circles or windshield wiper motions, depending on the look I'm doing. Right, now I'm gonna take another brush. It's also an eyeshadow brush, but this is fairly like that. I don't know what that shape I'm trying to say is. Into Filthy. Wait, you can't see. Into Filthy. And this we're going to put on this inner part. So we work from the darkest going to the lightest. Usually though, work from the lightest going to the darkest. I'll show you that in other looks. But for this look, it was kind of needed to go from dark to light because it's easier that way. Then taking that small shade that we use for the lighter brown. And then we are going to blend these two together. With the lighter one, is really a back and forth when it comes to doing these looks. So you go back and forth quite a bit. Then with a fluffier brush, this is more irregular size, I'm going to take the shade Naughty, and it's a more rich brown. I've already hit pan on it, that's how often I use it. And use this around and over. I didn't put a lot on the brush, by the way, because it's supposed to be a light deposit. We're taking it around so that we can shape out the eye, and then over just to blend them together nicely. Okay, now we're gonna get into winged liner. That is also an easy way to do a cut crease looking look. Cut creases will be in another video. simply because they're not too essential, if that makes sense. We're gonna get into liner. I feel like winged liner is more important than cut creases, because if you don't know how to wing your liner, what are you doing? With liners, you have liquids, you also have pot, so pomade. If you are starting out, please grab a liquid. NYX, very good, as well as Huda. I find the Huda one is going to be easier for you to use, in my opinion, than NYX if you're just starting out. But for certain looks, I actually prefer the NYX one. It's easier for me to use. But I found when starting out, Huda's is easier to use simply because of the barrel. So how you hold it, it's easier to hold Huda's one. You're going to take it. What you're going to do is look down. Yeah, put a dot just above your outer corner. I have shaky hands, so please bear with me. And then what you're going to do is put another dot further up. What we're doing here, essentially, we're mapping where it's going to go, and then we're going to play connect the dots. Then from the first dot we put a second dot above it, depending on how thick you're going to want your wing to be. And then the last dot we're going to put is in the middle of the eye, or where you want your liner to stem from. We're going to go from this inner dot, this dot in the middle, and the first line is to connect that dot to the outer corner dot. You got it, well done. The second line is we're going to take that above dot and connect it to the center. This is giving O-level maths, low-key, just without the tracing paper. Okay, we've got that down, well done. So proud of you. Now we're gonna take it and we're going to draw a line connecting the top dot to the top outer corner dot. Got it, well done. Then we connect the lower dot and fill. And then we repeat the process here. Right. Now to get that, what we're going to do is crazy, is take it, run it from the bottom to get product off the brush, and then you lightly flick it up. Got it? Well done. So from the bottom, run it to remove, run it to remove excess product and flick it outwards, right? So sweet. And then what we're gonna do is take it here from the lash line outwards, just to give it more of a point to thickness vibe. That makes no sense, but you understand what I'm saying, because we drew a dot, so it's just ga. So this is just to shape it a bit more. Right, well done, Pookie. That's your wing liner. For this look though, we do want to have a bit of a smoky wing, so I'm going to take my Pretty Grunge palette that I broke fun times and go into the shade Renegade, which is this black shade here. And I'm going to use I need a small brush, this one. Small, fluffy, but it has kind of an angle to it. Literally just take the tiniest amount. And then what we do is we actually start over the eyeliner. The reason why I say use the Huda one if you're a beginner, because this one doesn't dry down as quickly, so you can mess up easily. And then we just smudge going upwards. I find doing your wing first makes it easier when it comes to smudging, because you have your guideline down. When you're working with black eyeshadow, go in like bits. So dip, apply, dip, apply, dip, apply. It makes it way easier. Then taking that big brush, we are going to just blend the browns and the black. Now we're gonna put on our lashes. Lashes come in all sorts of whatevers. So my big thing when you're looking for lashes is when you're starting out, find lashes with a thin band. So if you look at these, can you see the band? It's very thin. It's gonna be easier to use as compared to these, which have a thicker band. Ardell makes very good thin band eyelashes. I had another pair of eyelashes that I now can't find and it's sending me into orbit. I was holding them. These for now. Open up your lashes. Oh sweet, it came with adhesive. We're not gonna use it though, because that adhesives that come with lashes just never stick, in my opinion. Grab your lashes. The first thing you're gonna do is take out one lash. these are tweezers I use for lashes. I find they're way easier to use than the other lash applicators or tweezers. And then you're going to measure the lash. So you take it, you measure it against your eye, because it's seldom that you'll find a lash that'll come to size when it comes to your eye. And then you snip off from the end, from the outer part, however much you need to snip off. Make sure that you measure each eye. Don't take one, snip it, and then use that, because if you're like me, I'm gonna stab my eye. Well, your eyes aren't the same size and shape, so you might need to trim a bit more on one than the other. My eyes are two different shapes. One is a soccer ball, one is a rugby ball. I've just learned to deal with it. Once you've snipped, you're going to grab your lash glue. I recommend Duo, or the one I'm gonna use today, which is, it's from AOA Studio. It's the Super Strip Lash Adhesive. Without a doubt, always tell you to get the lash glue with a wand. Girl, can you focus? Like that. I don't know how well you could see that. Simply because it makes application easier. What we're gonna do is dip, and then we apply that over the eyeliner like we're applying eyeliner again. So you just brush on the glue. It's way easier this way. Kind of apply mine in a triangle because I don't apply my lashes right across. I apply them going up. I use black lash glue simply because it's easier for me to tell when it's tacky. It goes from that blackish bluish grayish to just black when it's ready for application. Taking the lash, I look down, clean off your tweezers unless you'll become like me, and then I apply the inner corner as close to the lash line as I can get. Then the outer corner is what I apply in a lifted manner. And then I squeeze the middle and front and boost up the outer bit. I need to raise it a little more, right, to give it that lifted look. Clean off your tweezers because you don't want your lashes to stick to the tweezer when you're applying. Place the middle section first. Apply the front as close to the lash line as you can get. Then the outer part, oh girl, I was off camera. Hello, there we go. So you applied the middle part closer to your lash line, or as close as you could get it, and then the outer part you take it above your lashes just a little bit, not too much now. Press up the outer part and squeeze the middle and front with a little upward press. Right, we'll do mascara last. Let me zoom you out. Hey Pookie. I leave mascara for last because it'll just remove any powder that gets on the lashes while we do our face. Now it's time for the face. You've moisturized, your face is clean, well done. I double prime. Key for December, I'm sorry. If you're not double priming, you're setting yourself up for failure, and I'm not mincing my words when I say that. This is a bit, oh girl. Right, left. Okay, the first primer I'm gonna take is a luminous smooth primer. This is from Maybelline. I recommend using either a hydrating / moisturizing smoothing primer first, and then a mattifying or gripping primer second. And the ratio of this depends on your skin as well as your desired look. So if you are dry or you want a more dewy look, you put more of this, and then you put less of the mattifying primer on top. And then if you want a matte look, then you put less of this and more of the mattifying primer. You apply the smoothing. Oh girl, that is Picasso. Apply the moisturizing, hydrating, smoothing primer first. Oh girl, I'll clean that up. Wait a bit. I'm not gonna wait because I'm at home, so fun times. And then I'm gonna use the e.l.f. gripping primer, the e.l.f. power grip primer. My mirror is down here, if you're wondering why I'm looking down. And this goes over. If you are oily, use a matte primer, don't use a gripping. I used about 50-50 of each. I might have used a little more of the Maybelline simply because I don't want to look too matte. And I have combination skin, so it's not gonna be too bad. It looks great because I didn't let the Maybelline sit for long enough, but it's okay, we move. And do my makeup to go to Instagram, so it's fine. Now, Pookie, what you're going to start, get me a wet wipe, please. Right, now we get into the fun part, which is complexion. For the love of all things good, please don't buy a foundation that's for tech shades lighter than you. If anything, buy one that's slightly darker than you because then you can brighten it up. Or if you go heavy on bronzer, then buy one that's little, as in one shade lighter than you, so that you can bronze it up. To start off, you can color correct. I don't really need to. By the way, color correcting, it's not a group project, okay? Like, you don't have to color correct. It's not a must. Unless you have extreme darkness or pigmentation, then you don't need to be color correcting. Now, my favorite concealers are from NARS. They're the Radiant Creamy Concealers. They're good for full glam. They're good for everyday makeup. I'm going to take the shade Amand, which is closer to my skin tone. And this, I'm going to run where I need to conceal. So under my eyes, over my mustache area, around my nose here, corners of my mouth, and my beard area. And then I take a brush and I pat that in. If you have spots in other places, this is the part where you spot conceal. By the way, we're doing a full base today, so for my clean girls, this is not your... I can't do a clean girl look. I actually will do one, a more natural look, but for today, I think I have one up on my Instagram, if you want to go watch that in the meantime. The reason why we use concealer that is our shade is because it gives us a more even canvas to work with. What I'm actually going to do is clean up my eyeshadow. So take a bit on the back of my hand. Then taking that brush we used to clean up our eyebrows, we're going to take that concealer and follow the base of the wing that we did. This helps to give you a more sharp look. Alternatively, you can tape before you do your eyeshadow. Again, if you are still learning, get your eyes down first, because you make the most mess with your eyes. And then at least you know once your base is down, you're not messing that up. So I'll just blend the outer part. I'll leave closer to there, fairly untouched. I just need to blend that, it looked weird. Because I need pigment there, so I need it to dry down. Now we're gonna take foundation. My favorite foundation is from NARS. It's the Natural Radiant Long Wear Foundation, because again, good for every day, but it's also good for full glam looks. The Huda Beauty Easy Blur is also good, as well as the Revlon Color Stay foundation. The L'Oreal Infallible foundations are also really good, but for today we're going to use the NARS one. I don't take a lot of it. I just take, I think, about 4 pumps, and these pumps are not generous, so yeah. And I need a bigger brush for this. I'm going to take this brush from AOA Studio. It's the high def brush. I think it's F3. Yeah. And then I first of all spread it on the back of my hand. Then I apply it everywhere I didn't put concealer. So my cheeks and my jaw. My face is a bit swollen because I'm post surgery, so not plastic surgery before I have people coming for me. But yeah, if it's looking a little bit weird, one side is a bit more swollen than the other, but such is life. This isn't the same foundation I used for the brows, as you can tell, slightly. The one I used for the brows is a bit darker / red. Then we just blend it into the concealer areas so that they mesh together well. Okay, then with the excess that's on the brush, we fan it out into the hairline, into the ear, down the jaw, and same for the other side. Right, left. We didn't take the foundation under the eyes because we don't want to put too much product there, because creasing is a very real thing. Now we're going to apply the highlight concealer. I use the shade Caramel in the NARS concealers. Take it, the first blob goes by the nose, so we reverse contour a bit, right? I apply it in a bit of a spread way so that it can dry down evenly. This concealer is about 2 to 3 shades lighter than me, so it's literally for highlighting. And then what we want to do, remove the product from the bristle of the concealer so that we can just spread it out. We don't want it in chunky blobs because we need it to dry down. The reason why we let concealer dry down is that we get a bit more coverage and it doesn't move as much once it's dried down a little bit. While this dries down, walk your dog, argue with your husband, fight your boyfriend, I don't care, find something to do. I don't have a dog, a husband, or a boyfriend, so I'm going to just go in with my bronzer. For this, I'm going to use the Juvia's Place cream bronzer in the shade Espresso. It is a bit dark, not even a bit dark, it's very dark. So I go in sparingly. NARS also has very good cream bronzers. Fenty's ones are good. My issue with them is that they dry down way too quickly. So by the time you're done applying it, it's really dry and it's like, girl. It is a cream to powder formulation, so that makes sense, but it dries down too quickly for me. So I'd recommend for cream bronzers, you have Juvia's, NARS. Huda also makes a good one. You can also just use a cream foundation of your choice that's darker than you. So we dip the bum of the beauty blender, dab off the excess because we don't need it. Can you see that? Then we apply it where we'd apply our bronzer normally, avoiding the concealer. And the benefit of applying it with the beauty blender like this is that it's already blended out. It makes life way easier as opposed to applying then having to blend it. You can also use a brush. I just find that application is easier and a bit more even when I use the blender. We'll do the nose closer to last. Get your double chin. When doing your double chin, you apply here so that it creates a shadow. That way, your double chin is not as visible. Hashtag life hack. What I am going to do is take a bit, where's the beauty blender I used earlier? On the pointy part of the blender, right? Pinch it, and then we take it onto the nose. Again, avoiding the concealer. Then we're gonna take cream blush. I love Kylie's ones, they're very good. I also love the NARS ones. Liquid blushes, you can use lipstick, you can use... Who makes good liquid blushes? I know NARS. Huda makes good liquid blushes. I actually don't really know much when it comes to liquid blushes because I used to use lipstick. I'd find my favorite lipstick shade in a blush shade and then I use it as blush because it came out pretty like every single time. So I'm going to use this color because it goes along with the color scheme for the eyes. This is the shade Fierce from NARS. And we are going to take, there's a brush I'm looking for. This is the Kylie Cosmetics blush brush. So we're going to take that. I love products that have very good color payoff and are very pigmented because why am I having to fight for my life to get color payoff? I hate that. I hate that. Why must I have to swipe 1,000,001 times? Then we apply that in the blush position. So apples of the cheeks, going up to the temple, trying to avoid that concealer. You're 3%. How is my camera's battery dying so quickly? I don't get it. I'm actually going to mix in a little bit of the shade Hot Take just to give it a brighter lease of life. Mixing things is like, that's my forte. And these two together, ooh, that actually looks pretty. We're going to take a brush. This is from Real Techniques, it's a setting brush. By the way, for your blush application, if you want a more lifted look, focus it from the outer apple of the cheek going to your temple. For more round, focus it here. With this brush, we are going to blend out the highlight. Can you see that? December ready, hello. And take a small brush. With this, I'm just going to blend the bronzer we put on the nose. Then we're gonna continue blending with the brush. We blend out where the concealer was more sheer because that dries down quicker, right? Then we blend out under the eyes. And because it dried down quite a bit, it's not moving as much, so I can actually be a bit messy with the blending motions and it won't go over my whole face. See why I said let it dry down before you blend it out? I hope that, you see, the fight with your boyfriend, husband, or that walk you took with your dog, so worth it. Because you get more coverage and it doesn't move, so you don't ruin the rest of your face. Now we're getting into the powders. The first thing that I'm going to set is my under eyes. I'm gonna take loose powder first. I recommend Huda Beauty's loose powders. Those ones are my kryptonite. You cannot tell me anything. Fenty's are okay, but what I love about the Huda ones is the blurring effect you get. Girl, when I tell you. And I apply it with a powder puff. So what I do first is blend out under the eyes just to get rid of any creasing. Creasing is natural, so please don't fight for your life trying to get rid of it. It's normal. You can minimize it, but you can't get rid of it. And then we apply first. Blow off the excess or tap it off, whichever floats your boat. If you are a baking girly, I hear it. My thing is set your face first, and then after you've set is when you apply your bake. This way, one, you minimize flashback, and number two, you look snatched. So we apply that everywhere that we put the highlight, concealer. So that's our noses. Why is my phone playing me depressing music? Hello, I'm trying to be a bad bitch. And then, first place I bake is the sides of my nose. This is to get that reverse contour look. If you're oily, bake. If you want more focused highlight, you can also bake. When it comes to baking powders, use for my women of color, run away from translucent powders, use banana powders. So I use the shade Banana Bread or Blondie. Currently I'm using Blondie. Blondie is slightly darker, so it's good for more everyday or more natural looking highlights. But when I want to be bright, I use Banana Bread. Then we take it in these crevices here. Then we apply the rest under the eye. When baking, I don't tap it off. I just go straight from the lid onto the eye. The last thing I'm going to do is take it. Now I blow it off. And I reverse contour underneath my cheeks. Reverse contouring helps when it comes to, if your contour doesn't look sharp, reverse contour, babes. Trust me. This is how you get your contour or bronzer to actually pop, simply because the contrast will make it stick out. So apply it 2-3 years in Dagestan and forget about it.
If you want your son high-level wrestling, send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
I need to stop saying that. While that sits, we are going to take bronzer. My favorite bronzer, powder bronzers, are from NARS, the Laguna bronzer. Huda, the Wishful powder bronzer is also good. Fenty's are also good, but I feel like the shades are a bit pick your poison, and I don't like that. Who else is good powder bronzer? You can also take a pressed powder, your favorite pressed powder formula, in a shade that's darker than you. Juvia's is a good powder bronzer. Right, so we're gonna dip that. This bronzer is very pigmented, so I'm not gonna go too crazy. I learned my lesson when filming this morning. Cause I was like, oop, and then next thing I knew, I looked crazy. I toned it down with powder though, so it's okay. So we take a bit, I took the shade 7. I wanted the shade 8 for more contour, but then 7 looks very good for sun-kissed, more warm, bronzy vibes. Take that just under the jaw, double chin, to get that jaw definition. Tap it off over the forehead. I pat it on so that it sets the cream product that we'd applied there earlier. Now this bronzer is making me look a little bit orange. I will tone it down with powder just now, you will see in a minute. Apply that with your bronzer or contour. You want to blend it upwards. So upwards. If you blend it down, all you're doing is dragging your face down. And then taking an eyeshadow brush, a fluffy brush, that's what I'll use to dip in. Tap off and go over the nose. And blend it up towards your brow there so that you get the shape of your nose from the top. Because your nose actually starts here when it comes to the shape. And it makes your contouring way easier. Right, now I'm going to dust off all the powder. And I like to keep in hand a foundation powder to do this. This gives you a bit more coverage and it minimizes your risk of flashback, as well as solidifying that whole like airbrushed look. You can simply just blend it off if you want to, but doing it this way, baby, it also sets the rest of the face. All right. And if it's too bright, it also tones it down a bit. So you can pick a shade, either your shade, a little bit lighter, whatever floats your boat. Then we dust off under the eye. So you swatch it and then you dust off. It just, because I like looking like I have a filter on in real life. I want makeup where if you take a picture, people are like, oh, she face apped her face. No, baby, that's my face. You get what I'm saying? And then I'm just going to take a bit of the foundation powder over the bronzer. 1, to help the cream bronzer underneath set. Number 2, to tone down the bronzer a little bit. Right? It also helps the face look a little more cohesive and less divided. Now we're going to apply powder blush. I love Makeup Revolution blushes, NARS blushes. I love NARS. NARS is just such an amazing brand in terms of you get good quality. The color payoff for the blushes, the bronzers is amazing. Some products are a hit or miss, I won't lie. But for the most part, it's amazing. I used to be such a MAC girly and then I grew up. So that sounds wild to say. I'm going to take the NARS, or the powder blush, in the shade Exhibit A. I'm lying. I'm not going to take Exhibit A. I wanted to use Exhibit A. I'll use it for another look. I love the shade. I'm going to take, I'll just put the name on the screen. It starts with an O and it's very explicit. Or I'll just, can you see the name? Yeah, their names never help, because when someone says, oh, your blushes are pretty, what's the name? And I'm like, do you want to know? With this, we just apply it over where we'd applied the cream blush. Again, deposit the most product where you want it to focus. So for a lifted look, focus up here. And then you put a little bit on your cheeks. This blush has a natural shimmer to it, which I really love. So again, we focus it up here for more lift. So most of the color, we'll put it here. And then take a little bit down to the cheeks. But we deposit the most color on the higher points just to get that lifted look. Some of us have matama, so it just helps, guys. And then just just dust it off a bit on the nose. I find just warming up your nose and your chin looks so pretty, right? And then I'm just going to dust off by the nose a little more. We've got the powders down for the most part, so we're going to go in with our first setting spray. I like to use a setting spray that deals with powders well. The Saron one is very good. MAC Fix Plus, the original, not the matte or dewy, the original MAC Fix Plus is another good setting spray that deals with powders, because what you want is for the powders to melt. And then you let that settle for a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to clean up my lips. So we let that dry down. You see how it has helped the powders to melt. Already when we blended out our powders, it looked very good. Then this just gets it together. It helps remove that powdery look. So MAC Fix Plus, Saron. You don't want a setting spray that grips too much. You want it more to just eliminate the powders. And then we go in with a fixing spray or a like super setting spray. The L'Oreal Infallible one is very, very good as a drugstore. Alternatively, you can use the MAC Fix Plus Matte. Cryolan is also very good. One Size also has a very good one. What this does, once this is gotten, is it helps to just lock it in place. It locks it and your makeup's not budging. So double prime and double setting spray is one of my biggest life hacks. So these literally, hold on, I can never have enough of the locking ones. We love these because they lock it, so your makeup's not gonna budge. This is a very good combo. So grab yourself a setting spray. This can be either described as a super setting spray or a fixing spray, depending on the brand and who you ask. Now what I'm gonna do is finish up my eyes. Actually, I'll do my lips last. Grabbing a black kohl pencil, I'm going to tightline my bottom lashes. You can choose to neglect your bottom lashes, but I feel like your makeup will look so much more put together if you give them a bit of attention. Then we take a brush and I'm going to go into Naughty, that brown shade that we used earlier. And this is just to smoke out the bottom lashes, or like our lower lash line, our under eyes. So place it first and then you blend it out. This just brings your look together. Then we're gonna grab mascara. MAC Stack mascara is very good. L'Oreal's Telescopic is decent. I don't understand the hype, but it's okay. I'm gonna use the NARS Climax mascara, and now we apply it to our lashes and the falsies. And if your falsies aren't dramatic enough for you, run your mascara over them. And don't neglect your inner baby lashes here, right? Lower lashes as well. For my lovers of highlight, you can grab your highlighter. I love the Dior Backstage highlighting palette. It was in front of me the whole time. Anyway, the Dior Backstage Glow Face palette is what I love to use. I last used a fan brush years ago, so bear with me. Right? Apply that to the high points where the sun catches. Highlighter is optional, but if you're going out, sweetie, grab that highlighter. It's like when like the strobe light hits you, you're just like, oh, extraterrestrial, interstellar being. Okay, then I like to go Cupid's bow and then the chin. I applied on my forehead, right? I think I did. I'm a beauty mark person. I have one natural beauty spot over here that I draw back in, and then I don't know why, but like something about beauty marks just adds character to your look. I don't know what it is. I look weird without a lip combo, so let's get into that. But before that, actually, I'm going to take the shade Irresistible from the Naughty palette, and with this, I'm lying. I'm going to take Flower Power and focus that on this inner part. Then I'm going to use the Huda liner for this. I'm going to just add an inner wing, a small one though, right? And that just like, oh girl, I love it, a good inner corner wing. Now for the lips, I'm going to take my contouring, my cream bronzer, You can see how yapping sometimes, yeah, it does not work. You can use a lip liner. I don't know where mine is. If you're going out, right, listen to me. If you are going out, as in if you're going out and you need it to last, Huda Beauty's lip tints are going to be your best friend. Because when I tell you, you put it on, dry, make sure your lips are clean, nothing on them, and dry. Apply that lip tint, let it sit. It's not gonna move. It's not gonna move. I actually need to get more for myself. And then I'm going to take this cream bronzer as a lip liner. Now, hear me out. We don't judge people who overline their lips, okay? I do it sometimes because it looks darn good. Well, for me personally. Right, we've got the base down. I'm gonna use the Kylie Cosmetics liquid lip in the shade Candy K. Okay. And apply that on the inner part of the lip. And then take the Maybelline Superstay Teddy tint, the Maybelline's liquid lip tints. They don't last as long as the Huda ones. And just go over the lining. The colors in these are really pretty. I just wish they were more long lasting. These can be suitable for a more everyday look. Right, guess what? If the hair gets done, then we're actually done. So give me a minute. I'll probably just tie it in a ponytail. I'm tired. Okay, this is the best we're getting with my hair. So yeah, guys, welcome to my face. So that was it for episode 1 of the December, I don't know what I'll name it, the December makeup starter pack. Yeah, I think the series is going to be named the December makeup starter pack. I hope you guys like the look and I hope you guys do enjoy it. If you want specific tutorials, whether it's brows, complexion, like dedicated ones, comment down below. Otherwise, comment below looks you want or where you're going. So if you want brunch looks, if you want night out looks, date night looks, let me know and I'll do them for you happily. Love and light to you all. Bye.